There we go. We're ready when you are, Martina.
I mean, happy to I'm like the opposite of readers.
Yes, I did.
At least you have the recording, so more people can watch it.
I don't want to be on the.
I don't want to be on the recording either. I hate myself.
No, because I don't want to get in any trouble. You know, when you put things online, you have to be careful. I'm not a medical professional, so that's the only thing I do.
I put myself online every week.
Well, you're
Yeah, but you know what you're talking
yeah, you know what you're talking about.
I mean, nobody expects you to be
Some people are very funny. Like, you know, what's your qualification? What's your, you know, how do you know this? I'm married to a lawyer, so. Huh?
You have bad experience.
No, I've just heard things.
And then if you read the comments online, what decision comments?
Maybe we just should put it on the website and that's it.
Welcome now.
Oh, no, I'm gonna text you, Michelle, Ministry of Healing. This morning I was reading the first paragraph, it's really short. And the second one.
Martina, my neighbor, they love me. I ask them every month.
Hi, welcome.
Pleased to meet you, Michael.
What's your
Freeman.
name?
Michael Freeman.
Hi, Michael. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Alberta.
Hi, Martina. What's your name?
Alberta.
Alberta. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming.
She's the health ministry for our church.
I am just part of the team. We are a big team.
They have women's ministry, health ministry.
I was in Psalms.
Are you guys ready? Okay.
I was reading that and then I was
I must have lied.
And even this Sabbath school lesson, like when I was reading, so there's like, and I don't know what it was but there's a, in the Sabbath lesson, because I'm going to do Sabbath lesson, and I'm gonna just, I'm gonna talk about, one of the paragraphs on Friday, because they just really go together. And so,
I really laid it on thick for my.
Ja. Ja. Und jetzt soll es noch eine halbe Stunde sitzen.
Das kocht noch immer nicht. Aber ich glaube, dass er es auch nicht zum Kochen bringen muss jetzt mehr. Das wird von alleine auch lange schon. Martina, wenn es nicht rührt, dann verbrennt es.
Wir brauchen dann einen kleinen Chaudon.
Kocht das, denkst du?
Ja, ich glaube es schon.
Oh, no, you're fine. She's gonna go right there. I can see her.
Okay, let's get started. Okay, good evening, everybody. I would like to welcome you all on behalf of the Metro Health Ministry. We are happy that you took the time to come, and we hope you will enjoy this evening. I would also like to welcome everybody who will watch the video recording of this event later. Health Digest was designed to spread the word about God's goodness and the amazing health message He gave us. Health Digest aims to bless and benefit all of us with simple and practical lectures and training to improve our lives. Here is the program for tonight. I hope you all got a handout. We will start with a little devotion that our pastor will share. Then we will have cooking demonstrations. Then we will have a simple remedy session about water. After this, Isai will share a little thought from the book Ministry of Healing. Then we will have an exercise part about balance and strength, and I hope the lady who does this will come, but I reminded her today, so hopefully she's on her way. We will have a little health teaser at the end about diabetes, and we will end strong with a drawing of some prizes. So I hope you all filled out a little card with your name, that you are eligible to get a prize. Enjoy your evening.
Hello, everybody. Are you happy today? Yes. I hope you're happy. Not everybody is. About 4 in 10 people suffer from anxiety and depression. So if we look at the number of people here, about 8 people that are here tonight probably have had or could have had that struggle. Most adults will get some sort of anxiety in their life, right? We all have stress. Not all stress is bad, but we all have stress. And sometimes the stress builds and it creates anxiety, and anxiety over a period of time can create depression. There was a man, his name was Quinn. He was a high school teacher. He lived alone. He did not have a lot of friends around his area, and the stress of work was piling up, and he started to have anxiety and get depression, and it just kept building and building until he was very depressed, but still functional, still able to go to work. One of his friends noticed that he was kind of falling behind, and he was not his usual upbeat self for quite some time. So he asked him, he took him aside, he asked him, what's going on? And just wanted to see how he was doing, which was very thoughtful, very kind. It's nice to have friends that will do that. That was an opportunity that he had to tell someone that he was struggling with depression. And it gave him an opportunity to open up, to be vulnerable for a moment, and tell his friend that he was not doing so well, and that set him on a course that helped him overcome his depression, because he was too afraid to go to a therapist and too afraid to talk to somebody. But his friend, who showed a genuine interest, wanted to help him out of his depression. So there were a few things that helped him. Number one was having someone to talk to and a friend who regularly checked up on him. Number two, he started changing his diet. Instead of going home and eating all of the junk food and the potato chips and the ice cream and all of the things that he often just ate because he was depressed, he started putting more veggies in his diet. He started getting less starch in his diet, and he noticed that he was feeling a little bit better. And then he said he started creating, and he was a photographer, so he liked to go outside and take pictures. So he would take his camera, and he would just go and he would try to find and capture that one image and just be creative. And he started to do that on a regular basis. That led him to start being able to accept that he had a problem and he had a condition that he needed to really take some time after. And then he bought a dog because of companionship, right? I read a book one time about a man who was stranded at sea for 3 months with his dog, and all the experts that weighed in said he would not have been so mentally sound if he didn't have someone to talk to. And for him, it was the dog. They both survived, which was great. This is a pretty good story of depression when somebody is able to come out of it and see, the light again. But there are all kinds of anxieties in our world, all kinds of stresses in the world today. And sometimes the best thing to do is to sort of follow the example of those who have gone before us, who have gone through that, and imitate what they did. And I love that this man, Quinn, had a friend who asked him how he was doing. That reminds me of a Bible text in Proverbs chapter 12, verse 25. And if you want to write this down and memorize it, if you come back 3 months from now and you have this memorized, Martina will give you a prize. Right? Proverbs chapter 12, verse 25 says, "Anxiety in the heart of man causes depression, but a good word makes it glad." We have lots of people around us you might not even know, but 4 in 10 people struggle with depression and anxiety. A good word, a kind word from you to them, or them to you, or even God to you, or God to them, might make all the difference in the world. For Quinn, it was just that one encouragement that you don't have to stay like this, you can get better, from a friend that set him on the journey towards happiness. And it's just exactly like the Bible says, anxiety leads to depression, but a good word makes the heart glad. So I hope that you're encouraged tonight. I hope tonight you hear some good words that will make your heart encouraged, and know that there are always things that make us sad and depressed or stressed and have anxiety, but it only takes a word of encouragement to set a different course. And I hope that tonight we'll set ourselves on that different course. I'm going to have a word of prayer to begin and open up our meeting, and then I'll turn it over to the cooking team to see what yummy things they've got for us tonight. So bow your heads with me. Father in heaven, thanks for the Bible that tells us everything we need to know that's important, that comes from you, that one of the most impactful things that we can do to help those with depression is just simply be an encouragement and to point them to things that are going to help, whether that's getting a dog or changing our diet or being creative or opening our hearts up to you. Just those words of encouragement have a positive impact. And we want you to help us to be encouraging to others, but sometimes we need encouragement, and we ask that you would be that for us too. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor Tan. So now we start with our cooking part. And we have a very interesting and exciting cooking part today. It's all about breakfast. And we will show you today 7 breakfasts for a whole week. And the prerequisites for each of these breakfasts was, first, that it's plant-based. Second, that they are nutritious, that they are simple, fast, that they have good ingredients, and also that they don't require any very special kitchenware, like a very good blender or a very good processor or something else you might imagine. So Please enjoy our recipes. We will go one by one, and our kitchen crew will either demonstrate the recipe or talk about how they prepared it, and then you will get a taste, and maybe you want to share if you like it or not, or maybe not. But please be a little bit open-minded, because if you are not eating plant-based food, it might taste a little bit bland, because sometimes it takes a little bit to get used to that kind of food, but we try to do our best to make really simple and good recipes that you can easily prepare at home. So at our handout, please go to the third page, where it says bean over polenta. And Lucia prepared this dish for you, and she will talk how she made it.
Good evening. I'm sure every one of you cook at home beans. It's nothing new, nothing special. Martina gave me this recipe. I follow exactly the recipe. So I put onion, garlic. I saute for a few minutes in olive oil. After I put the beans, I use, everything was organic. I use organic beans. And I put cumin, I don't know exactly if I pronounce correctly. And I put salt to taste, and pepper flakes. I hope it's not too spicy. And I put tomato, one tomato diced. Maybe in 20-15 minutes was everything done. For the polenta, I prepare it here. I want to prepare it outside to see it, but the induction didn't work with the pot I have, so I prepare it inside. It's fresh. So water, nutrition yeast flakes, 2 spoons of oil, olive oil. I make bigger portion. Usually I don't put olive oil. I make polenta very often. I'm from Romania, and in Romania we make a lot of polenta. We used to eat with cheese, with beans, with veggie. So it's very easy to make. If you want to put nutrition yeast, I put it. I follow exactly the recipe if you like it. At home I don't put nutrition yeast, and I don't put oil. I put water, salt, and corn flour. So, and on the topping I put avocado with a little salt and lemon juice, and if you want it over, to put cilantro. So very simple, very easy, and I think it's nutrition too. Thank you. Enjoy.
So the yeast flakes are in there to give it a little cheesy taste, because with yeast flakes you can intimate some cheese taste. So how did you like it?
Very good.
Awesome. So our second we will have a mixture of savory and sweet breakfasts. We have actually 4 savory breakfasts and 4 sweet breakfasts, because the breakfast is the most important, or should be the most important meal of the day. So please, if you want to skip a meal, don't skip the breakfast. Skip the dinner. I know it's hard because dinner time is mostly the time where we socialize, but breakfast is a very important meal of the day. So the second recipe is a recipe my husband will present, and it's oatmeal with mango. So please go to the next page. And this is my favorite oatmeal. My husband started to cook oatmeal some years ago, and first I never liked it because he used coarse or old-fashioned oat flakes, but the quick oats are better, and he uses my favorite milk, plant-based milk, which is soy milk, which is a little bit more rich than almond milk, and he really got it for me to perfection. I love this oatmeal, and I hope you do too. So it's very, very easy, and he will now explain how he does it.
Hello. So, my name is Brian, and has everyone seen here the movie Ratatouille, by chance? There's a cookbook in there that says everyone can cook, so I can cook too. I cook oatmeal. So the way I make my oatmeal is it's actually quite easy. I start off with, first the milk, the fluids. I use 2 cups, so for 1 portion, I use 2 cups of soy milk, which is something Martina really liked. Initially, I made it with almond milk and all the stuff, something she didn't like. So use 2 cups of soy milk, 1 cup of water. The reason why I put water in there is if you use soy milk by itself, somehow I manage every single time to burn the oatmeal. So I add a little bit of water in there. Then I use 2 teaspoons of sugar. I use 2 tablespoons of coconut flakes and 1 cup of the quick oats. And that's something my wife really, really likes. I think they're on the way now, isn't it? I haven't seen them, but good. So yeah, that's something I really enjoy. You mix everything in a pot. That's it. Everyone can cook. It's easy. So I would say enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Brian, did you use fresh mangoes instead of frozen?
Oh, I forgot the mangoes, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes.
He uses frozen mangoes, and the way how it works in our house is he prepares the oatmeal, and then we go to the dog park to let it sit, and when we come back, it's ready to eat, and it's very yummy.
So yeah, I forgot the mango. So I use frozen pieces from you buy a big bag from organic mangoes from Costco. I think it's $8.99 or $9.99, and it's 4 pounds. And it's pretty good. I prefer to use. Initially, it was all about fresh fruits. Meanwhile, I think hey, frozen fruits are not so bad because in order to taste good, they have to be ripe. So they put them ripe in the bag, and then they're pretty good. So.
Thank you, Brian.
And this recipe takes like 5 minutes, and who doesn't have 5 minutes? Okay, our next recipe is again a savory recipe, and it's breakfast muffins. So don't expect a sweet muffin. These are savory. They have, it's like similar to an egg muffin with veggies, and they are made out of chickpea flour. Who of you knows what a chickpea is? Garbanzo beans or chickpea? Yeah, they are a very good protein source. So please be open-minded for that one. But they are also very nutritious, and I love them. Okay, Margit will explain how she made those.
Okay, they're fairly simple. You just cut your veggies, including the garlic, the onion, leeks, corn, and carrots, and saute them in a little bit of oil. And then you add a little bit of salt. While that simmers on the oven, or stove, I guess, you measure your garbanzo flour, your tofu, and mash the tofu down, and then add the water, and then I added all my seasonings to that wet ingredients. After the veggies are done, you basically, and don't be scared, because the muffin mix, before you mix in the veggies, are fairly soupy. I was really concerned when I tried that recipe, and I was like, oh, this is a soup. But when you mix in the veggies and when it bakes, it actually soaks up the water. The wrappers are not the ideal ones. Martina told me that there are other wrappers that actually where the muffins really fall out. These ones really, really stick. So I have to look into that. But they're very nutritious, so I want to give you a little bit of a nutritional information here. The chickpeas help control the blood sugar because it is a slow glycemic index. That means it will get absorbed slowly into your system. It has dietary fiber. It's good for our colon. It lowers your cholesterol, and it also lowers the LDL, that's the bad cholesterol, low density lipid. It also helps with the bones because it contains calcium, magnesium, fiber, and other nutrients. The tofu is also a really good source of protein if you're not allergic to it, and it helps with hot flashes when you're in menopause, but you have to eat it almost every day. And it also helps with lowering your heart disease. It has shown that it lowers breast cancer risks and lowers your blood sugar and reduces the cholesterol. Any questions? Like it?
What do you think about this recipe? It's a nice alternative. So the paper cups that are good to use are the parchment paper cups. You get them at Kroger, and nothing will stick to it. They look like parchment paper, but they have the form of a cup. Looks like Stacy knows what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. So the next recipe will be a sweet recipe again. And that will be a berry crisp. And Isai prepared that and will tell you how she did that.
I took pictures. Oh, sorry. I took pictures while I was making this. Oh, there's Isla also. Okay, so this is kind of your ingredients list here, but you have it there. This is I made 3 times the amount that's on the recipe in your packet. So you've got your berry mix, some sugar, which you don't see there, but I used cane sugar, flour, oat flakes. You see there the rolled oats. I didn't use pecans, I actually used walnuts, and then olive oil and cinnamon for the recipe. So you start off by preheating your oven to 350, and then you're gonna put the frozen berry mix into the casserole dish and then put it into the oven while you are prepping the topping. So there's the frozen berries. For the topping, you'll take your sugar and you're gonna melt it on the stovetop. So you can see here the sugar is pretty coarse. And as you start, it took probably about maybe 10 minutes. I just constantly stirred it because I was really afraid it was gonna burn. But it slowly starts to melt, and you can see here kind of the process as it's caramelizing, and then it gets really, really soft. So once it really kicks in, it goes pretty quickly. Then you'll put all of the other dry ingredients into a bowl, so the flour, the oats, the nuts, the olive oil, and the cinnamon, and then you want to pour that sugar in there, and it hardens pretty quickly once you take it off the heat. So you want to mix that right away. And then you just put it over the top of your berries, and this is what it looks like all mixed in. So it looks like a really yummy granola. And then it bakes for about 30 minutes. And you're looking for that top to get golden. Yep, and I think it would probably, the best would be fresh out of the oven, nice and warm. Maybe pour a little soy milk over the top to make it creamy if you want, or eat it as is. You give me a thumbs up, Ian? Yeah? Oh, yes, I'm sure. Fresh fruit. I've made it, too, with peaches. You can do a mixture with, like, apples and berries, which makes it, because berries can be expensive, and apples, if they're in season, can be pretty cheap, so you can use that, too, as your fruit base.
Thank you. I love the photos. I made this recipe lately with cherries, and that was very good too. Yeah, Rula said this tastes like a dessert. So if you need a dessert for guests, you can make that too, and it's super simple and easy. Okay. So. Then we go again to a savory breakfast, and that's a real famous one. It's scrambled tofu, and Lucia prepared that one. So the scrambled tofu recipe and the breakfast muffin recipe is adapted from recipes from Chef Miguel, who many of you know. And I want to give him the recognition here. Okay.
Yes. Yes, they are coming. Hello again. So, it's first time I made scrambled tofu with spinach. I never made before scrambled tofu, even if I eat, other people made. This morning I made the first time. So I use organic tofu, firm tofu, and I use, first I saute garlic and onion, I follow exactly the recipe, and after I use celery and red pepper. I saute for 3-4 minutes more, and after I put the tofu, spinach, Italian seasoning, basil, I put turmeric and yeast flakes. This is all. I mix together for another 4-5 minutes, and I put a diced tomato too. And I think tastes very good. I like it. You will test and you will see how for me it's better than the real eggs. I like it more, but I know some people like real eggs, but this is really nutritious and very delicious. So hope you enjoy. Thank you.
I actually like this recipe, the tofu, also better than eggs. But it takes a little bit to get used to it and a little bit less stubbornness. My boys, they are not yet there. So they eat it, but they still like the eggs better. Okay. While Margit is preparing for the millet, I will talk about the shopping list. So the shopping list is behind all the recipes on not the last page, but the page before. So I have divided the shopping list into staples, which I all have at home, but somebody who is not usually cooking plant-based food might not have them at home. Therefore, I put them all here. I also put some spices there that we used in the recipes, which I all have at home too, but you might not. So if you want to make all the recipes and do the shopping like the week before, that you have everything ready for the whole week, you can look at this list, and if you have all these ingredients, then you are ready to make all these recipes very quickly, because nothing is more annoying than when you are in the middle of a recipe and you realize that you are missing an ingredient. Then there is a veggie section and a fruit section and another section where I put these parchment paper cups. By the way, if you don't have a muffin form, you can make this batter of the breakfast muffins in a wok or in a skillet and make a frittata out of it. And everybody has that at home, I assume. So the staples here are brown rice, polenta. Polenta I buy at Kroger. So most of these ingredients are either available at Kroger or at Costco. And sometimes I go to the Indian store because they have sometimes better prices and bigger quantities to buy. Quick oats, whole wheat flour, chickpea or garbanzo flour, and that specially you can buy at the Indian store if you don't want to go to the health store, because there it's usually pretty expensive. But the chickpea flour at the Indian store is cheap and has a good price, and because they use that flour a lot in their diet. So for sugar, I usually buy the raw sugar from Costco, which I very like because it has a nice side taste, and it's also healthier than the white sugar At least I want to believe that. You would need some nuts, so either pecans or almonds or walnuts, whatever you like. And coconut flakes, you get a very good deal also at the Indian store. They have coarse ones and fine ones. For the oatmeal and the millet we show you, we use the finer ones and the ones that are not really sweetened. So then I hope you all have fresh garlic and fresh onions at home all the time, because they are very good and useful and beneficial to your health, because they contain a lot of antioxidants and you can use them as medicine too. I always have olive oil at home. I have honey or maple syrup, where you can get good deals at Costco also, but if you don't have a membership, you also get this at Myers or Kroger or wherever you like. I buy my tofu at Costco. It's a firm tofu, and it has the best price I found. We also buy the soy milk at Costco. Alternatively, you can use oat milk, because that's also a thicker milk. I don't like to use almond milk as much, because the bought almond milk is very thin. It doesn't have a lot of taste, and it has a lot of ingredients, which I don't like that much. So dates, I usually also buy at Costco. And baking powder. With the baking powder, please make sure you buy the aluminum-free version, because there are also other ones, and aluminum is not that beneficial to your health. We try to avoid heavy metals in our bodies. For spices, we use pepper flakes, so you can get a good deal for pepper flakes at Costco. We have that all the time at home, because my husband likes to eat spicy. For salt, I use normally the pink salt, which I also buy at Costco. You can use sea salt or Celtic salt. The reason why I don't like to use the normal salt is, in the normal salt you have 2 minerals, right? But in the other alternatives, you have a big variety of different minerals, which are all beneficial to our bodies. So it's like a supplement. Nutritional yeast, I love to use, and this is, first it has a cheesy taste, it makes everything a little bit more smooth, and it's also very beneficial because it has so much vitamin B, a different variety of different vitamin Bs. So use it as much as you can, and even dogs like it. Okay, the nutritional yeast you also get at Kroger or at the health food store. Our recipes use chili, cumin, which is used a lot in the Middle Eastern kitchen. So if you want to have a better deal on cumin, you can also go to the Indian store or to a Middle Eastern store. Same for turmeric, thyme, basil, Italian seasoning, and cinnamon. Italian seasoning is basically also basil, but it also has rosemary and thyme and oregano, so it's a mix of all of them. So for veggies, we used spinach, baby carrots, corn, leek, celery, peppers, tomatoes, avocado, cilantro, and beans. The beans I buy in cans either from Kroger or from Costco, and I look for the organic versions. For all of our veggie dishes, you can alternate. You can use the veggies that you have at home, but these combinations are something that I usually have at home, and it's easy to make. For fruit, we always have frozen mangoes at home and berry mixes. And peaches I buy in cans, and I looked at it's not in the heavy sugar syrup, but they have a version of pear juice, which is a little bit lighter and tastes better. Okay, I think Margit is ready for her presentation of let's go back to the recipe of the heavenly millet.
Okay, so the heavenly millet, it's a good idea if you want to eat it for breakfast, and usually most of us don't have a lot of time in the morning. Pre-cook your millet in the evening. So make sure that you rinse your millet really well with hot water to get rid of that bitter taste. I have tasted some bitter millet, and it really does, I had to throw out the whole dish. It was not very good. So you can pre-cook it, and the way it's actually really, really simple. You put the 1.5 waters in, bring it to a boil, and then just cook it between 5 and 10 minutes. I cooked mine 10 minutes, and then you turn off your heat and let it sit, and eventually the millet absorbs all the moisture. And then in the morning, or you can pre-cut certain things, because in that recipe I used dates, and that takes a while to cut them. I used canned peaches, and I tried to find peaches that are not loaded with heavy syrup. So I know Walmart has them without sugar, and they add some other juices. This one is from Meyer's, and they added some, I think it's pear juice. And then you have some almonds or any other nuts, and you can probably spice up your fruit section. So if you don't like the peaches, maybe you want to grate in an apple, some oranges, whatever to your liking it is. So let me mix it, and if it's too thick, just add a little bit of soy milk or your milk preference. Okay? Just gonna. This is almond, but you can add whatever you want to. And if it's still not sweet enough, I added a little bit of honey for me, or maybe add more dates or something else. Okay. A little bit more. Okay, I think the first one is ready. Yeah. So you, first of all, you rinse it really well with hot water to get rid of the bitter taste. And then just put it in a pot and heat it up. I left it on a boil for 10 minutes and then turn it off and let it sit until all the water is evaporated, soaked up, and then your millet is ready. So it's not very difficult to make. It's actually very easy. And then you just add your favorite fruits and hopefully healthy sweetener to that. Okay, is it good? So while they're serving you the millet, I wanted to tell you that a little bit more about millet. It's a good source of a protein. It's gluten-free. It has fiber and vitamins like vitamin A and B. It has potassium, phosphorus, niacin, iron, and antioxidants. It's one of the oldest cultivated grain in the world, and it grows in Africa and Southeast Asia.
Is that all in the millet?
Yeah, that's all in the, that's all. It's a grain, ancient grain, but it's gluten-free, so you can have it if you have.
Like quinoa? Something like quinoa?
It's probably similar to it, but it's not quite the same. And interestingly, I went to an Arabic store because I tried to find millet. They don't know what millet is. They have lots of couscous,
Yeah.
but no millet.
Is it like similar to that family?
You know what? I have to look into that. I don't know.
Do you have it here or no? Or just
I didn't bring it. Yeah. But it also controls, so the niacin is important for the skin and for organs, that our organs can function a little bit better. It also controls the blood sugar, so it's very good for diabetics, also for us. We don't want these sugar spikes. Okay, millet has a mild, grassy, corn-like flavor that pairs well with both and savory, sweet ingredients.
I think millet comes from Africa,
Yeah, Africa and Southeast Asia.
and I personally think that it has a very neutral taste, so you can use it for sweet and also for savory dishes. And the biggest reason why I like millet is because it's so good for your nails and your hair and your skin. So if somebody is pregnant and loses hair, or if you lose some hair when you are aging, eat a lot of millet. It's super good to get strong and thick hair and good nails.
Can you cook it like instead of rice? Use this for.
Yeah.
You could.
And also
yeah.
use it for that. So, and it's very easy to prepare up front. You cook it 5 to 10 minutes and let it sit with a lid on, and then use it the next morning and you are ready to go.
It also improves your digestive health because it has insoluble fiber and soluble fiber. The insoluble fiber is a prebiotic and supports our gut. And the soluble fiber helps us to go to the bathroom on a regular basis. It also promotes anti-aging because we want to stay young. And it helps protect damage from disease, and what did I write down? And protects the cell. The vitamin Bs also help the healthy cell division, and vitamin B9 also helps with healthy red blood cells production. Okay?
So you just make it as like a cereal thing for breakfast, basically?
So I found millet at Kroger many times.
When are you gonna be ready?
They have this little section where they buy all of these special flours, and there is millet also. If you don't find it there, look at the Better Health store or at Servos or Whole Foods store, and you should be able to find it somewhere there, or buy it online on Amazon. Okay, here we are at the last recipe. And the last recipe will be again a savory recipe. And Isai will present that one. Stir fry over rice.
Martina, how do you use this? I turned it on.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the different mode. And here you can change the temperature.
Okay. 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 All right, so we're doing brown rice and stir fry. So the brown rice I made ahead of time. And so you want to rinse your rice, and so the recipe says simmer for 15 minutes. It took it like 45. I don't know if it took a long time. So it did take a long time for mine. I'll usually use like an Instapot if you have one, and it takes a little it goes a little faster. It could be, yeah.
The bigger amount you have, the longer it takes. If you have a small amount, it's very quick.
Sorry, something's smoking. Okay. Yeah, and then another thing that I've done in the past with brown rice is I will, so you rinse it with water, and then I'll put a little bit of olive oil in there, and then just kind of brown the rice a little bit before you actually start cooking it. And it helps so that when it's done, the pieces of rice don't stick together. I guess it depends on how you want your rice, but it helps the rice pieces kind of stay on their own, if that makes sense. So for the stir fry is nice because you really can add whatever vegetables you want. A good base, though, I think, is that what it is? Okay. So I'm just using a little bit of olive oil. And really, if you are sauteing onions and garlic, I feel like anything is going to taste good. I don't know. It is really hot. Okay, let's see what happens. So this is one whole onion. And we're looking for translucency. And like I said, I feel like you can add whatever you want into stir fry. So today we've got spinach, mushrooms, I have a bell pepper and some tomatoes. But I've done like broccoli, cauliflower, edamames, corn. And I feel like it's really easy. Squash, yeah. It's really easy because it just all goes into one pot. And it's healthy because you've got a big variety of vegetables here. This is a really nifty garlic thing, because if you're like me, I don't like dicing a bunch of garlic, and I like to use a lot of garlic. So with this guy, you just like pop it in there, and then you just snap it shut, and then it dices it all. I think it was like Marshall's or TJ Maxx or one of those that never has the same thing. Oh, and this is just because it took me so long to figure out. I was, you get little pieces of garlic stuck in here, so I was putting my knife in there, but no, they're smart. You just pull this out, and then it's fine. Wow. Yes, Isla? Next time you can do it. Isla likes to help me with mincing the garlic. The other thing is you want to go with the vegetables that take the longest to cook. So I think I would do maybe the bell pepper next. Yeah, and then the mushrooms, and I leave the tomatoes and the spinach for last. It looks like corn. It doesn't have any corn this time. It does, yeah. Hoping this is big enough. I'm telling you, once you add garlic and onion, it just smells delicious. And if you like mushrooms, I like how they smell once you add the mushrooms as well. But some people aren't as big of fans of mushrooms, so I have to hold myself back. And then to season, you can add a little bit of salt. I've used soy sauce in the past, or Bragg's, which I think is a little bit lower sodium. Maybe some pepper. You like mushrooms? You can add a little ginger in there too. That's good too. Some fresh ginger grated in. If you want it to be a little spicier, you can try different peppers like jalapenos or poblanos. What? Oh, you don't need ginger, but it tastes yummy, and ginger has a lot of good nutritional properties as well. I believe it's anti-inflammatory. Waffles? I don't know if you'd want to mix waffles with your stir fry. We need salt, and it's a lot. It's a lot in here, so. Peppers are good for you. Tofu is another good one to add in there. Yeah.
Was that a slight grimace?
The other thing is, I think if you, like here I'm making a large quantity, but if you have a smaller quantity in this size pan, you could probably let like the mushrooms crisp up a little more, let some of the liquid that they're kind of expelling evaporate. They do have a lot of water, yeah. And I've heard, what? Mm-hmm. Oh, I've heard that if you add salt to the mushrooms, then they get rid of their water faster, so maybe you add salt after they crisp up? I've not tried it because I like the flavor that they get from the salt, so. I hope you didn't have supper before you came here. Let's go ahead and add the tomatoes. Try and get out all that liquid in there. It is colorful, isn't it? Yep, we have some rice here that we'll be serving this over.
Why are you making it in a pot?
That's where you make it.
That's
Stir fry. That's her fault.
I noticed that when the picture does it, it's after she does the thing. Why? My dad, he makes blue bells.
Okay, you guys, give me some space.
Yummy. Where's the microphone? How do you live? How are you really loud? How are you really loud?
Go sit. Yeah. Thank you.
So while the stir fry will be served, we will start with the next presentation. So let's give Isai a hand. Very good. All of the chefs. So Margaret will talk about water right now.
Like maybe 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes. Yeah, it's not like Hey, you guys, go sit down.
Okay, hello everyone. Hi, I know we had some really good food. I really had a lot to eat. Very good recipes here. So don't come home full because we have a lot of special treats for us. So my presentation, I'm going to really skip over a lot of it because I think a lot of you already know the benefits of water. And to me, when I was preparing it, it's a good reminder of that we need to stay hydrated. And also, we're also going to talk about the timing of when we drink, which is something I never really thought about before. So I'm going to just mention some of the signs of dehydration, benefits of drinking water, the timing, the best time to drink water, and also how we're going to use water externally in our bodies that will be beneficial for us. So the first thing we're going to talk about is signs of dehydration. Does anyone know a sign that you're dehydrated? You're thirsty? Yes, you're thirsty. Anybody else? Sweating? That's true. That is true. All right. So, problems using the bathroom. So if you mention any of those things, you are on track for knowing the signs of dehydration. So how do we stay hydrated? And that's we're going to talk about some of the things that we can do to stay hydrated and why that's important. So number one, when you are hydrated or when you drink water in replacement for juice and stuff like that, it helps you with weight loss. Water is a very good natural appetite suppressant. So let's just try to drink more water. And they say if you have 2 glasses of water 30 minutes before you eat, it helps you to eat less. Not with your meals, but before you eat, at least a half an hour. All right? Another benefit of water is that it flushes toxins from your body. And if you have a glass of water as soon as you wake up, it really helps to cleanse out your body and get it prepared for the day and for your meal. Another benefit is it improves muscle endurance and flexibility. And who does not want that, right? So if you're really planning to exercise, make sure you're staying hydrated. For focus and concentration, this was really good. If you find that you're having headaches or you can't really remember things, you're getting frustrated, you could be thirsty. Getting some water will help your brain to operate better because your brain uses how much percent of water? Can you guess? About 80%. It uses 80% of water, yes. How about boosting your metabolic rate? Your metabolic rate, I'm sorry. Water is very good for helping you to convert food into energy. So drinking water helps your body to hydrate faster so that it can start being more productive. About our skin, healthier skin begins with hydration internally. So let's stay hydrated for that. And also lowering the risk of many diseases. People mention your organs. Your organs, again, need water to function. So that's another good reason to stay hydrated. And then we're going to talk about hair growth. Not just outside for the scalp and the hair, but internally. Again, water is very good for promoting healthy hair growth. I think one of the obvious things is being able to stimulate your digestive system. Again, so making sure that we are having proper bowel movements means we need to stay hydrated and drink adequate amounts of water. Blood circulation as well. The body needs that to keep the blood moving well through your vascular system. It needs to be hydrated. And last but not least, and these are only some of the benefits of water. There's a whole lot more. But even for your moods, if you notice you're cranky, again, fatigue, drink some water. You'd be surprised. It really helps you uplift your mood and helps you to face sometimes the rest of the day. So let's do that. All right, so another thing I wanted to mention, if you forget everything else I say, just remember there's also a good time to drink. And we're going to talk about what are the best times to be drinking water. Okay, first time, when you get up in the morning. And that's something for me when I was doing this. Like, I really need to focus on having that full glass of warm water before I eat anything because I get busy. And just having that water is really good to really help everything get going. Before a meal, 30 minutes before you eat or an hour after. And we're going to talk about why not during the meals. And that's kind of hard, but we have to kind of retrain ourselves. Before a bath, this is very interesting. It says because it helps to keep your blood pressure low. I did not know that, but before a bath, it's good to have a glass of water. And this is kind of tricky, but an hour before you go to bed. I know some people worry about getting up to use the bathroom while you're sleeping, but have a glass of water an hour before you sleep. Again, it's very important to replenish the fluid loss that happens during the night. Okay, so how can we, or why is drinking during meals not the best? We're not trying to criticize everybody. Again, I'm not a doctor, but one of the reasons why is we're talking about your gastric juices and why it's important, because we need those things to help break down our foods. So if you're diluting it, you're going to be causing an issue further on and dealing with food that's sitting longer in our digestive tract. So it also reduces the amount of saliva. And again, what is in our saliva? Enzymes. It's the first step of the digestion process, and we need those enzymes to break down the food. Then we also, it says it causes acidity, and how does it do that? Is because the undigested food stays in your system longer, which could lead to acid reflux or maybe heartburn later on, because the body can't do what it needs to do with those acids that are in your digestive tract. So we try to help it as much as possible. And number four is out of 5, they were saying that it could raise the amount of insulin in your body, and that was interesting to me, because when you're eating while you're drinking, the food that you're digesting is trying to convert it into the glucose into fat, and then your body's going to store that fat, which is, we don't want that. So, and then that raised fat means that your body has to work harder and produce more insulin. I thought that was very interesting. And so because of that raised insulin, we could have problems with weight. So these are all things that you might want to keep in mind. Okay, so how do we overcome this eating and drinking issue? What we can do is maybe, 1, lower the salt, because with heavier salt leads to more thirst. This number 2 is for me, slow down and chew our foods. Instead of gulping it down, really take your time to close your mouth, chew your food, allow your saliva to do its work. And of course, drink 30 minutes before your meal or an hour after. So then we're going to talk about, this is the last section, is ways that we can use water for healing. And this was very interesting. So we can use water or forms of water for reducing pain. One of the many issues that people talk about pain is in their body, and how being in water helps to ease those pain receptors during hydrotherapy. It helps to improve our mental health. There's water-based activities like swimming that's also good for reducing anxiety and depression, and many find that swimming improves their mood and helps to relieve tension. If you have arthritis symptoms, studies find that those with osteoarthritis and knee pain, they have less markers of pain after 8 weeks of aquatic exercise. So that's a very good option for those who are having those type of symptoms to be able to get into the water. And if you have pain where you're having impact issues, do some water sports. That's another good activity for you that has low impact on your joints. And water also aids in relaxation. So there's many forms of hydrotherapy that's very relaxing, both physically and mentally. And warm water helps to ease our tensions in our muscles while promoting a relaxed state of mind. And also, if you work out really hard and you're very athletic, using hydrotherapy with warm water, cold water, contrast showers and stuff like that helps you stay ahead of the pain. As well as if you're pregnant, they find that for those who are able to do that, many people who go through water births say that it really helps with general aches and pains. I wish I would have done that before. But again, there's just continuing to study the benefits of hydrotherapy. Now I have a little clip here, and I want you to watch it based off of what I was able to run through real quick. And this is a video of Barbara O'Neill, and she's testifying of a client that came to her. And afterward, I'm going to ask you, what was his issue and what do you think that she recommended? Okay? Okay, so what was the issue that she was talking about? What was his issue? Okay, so what was he doing? A liter of water with his meals. So how do you think he was able to digest that food? It was just sitting in his stomach. And if you saw before that, he had a lot of issues he was experiencing. So, like I said, if anything that I've learned is with the right timing of drinking. So let's just stay hydrated and use water for our health. Thank you for listening.
Recording.
Oh, do I have to hold that? I'm not used to using, I want to use my hands. I know I want to use my hands. So as you're looking through this, I told Martina that I was going to hit factors in strength work and your core strength and balance. So as you're looking these over, go ahead and pick them up in your hand and put your feet like this. Hold it, look at your thing, and I want you to just sway like this, and I want you to pull your toe up. That's all I want you to do. And I want you to ask yourself, let's see, am I locking my knees right now? Because if you're locking your knees, just slightly soften them. You don't really want to bend them, because I really want you to move your hip. I want you to sway, just like that, and just move your toe. And after you've done that for a while, as you're looking at these, I want you to say, have I ever seen any of these? Have any of you ever done any of these in physical therapy? Because these are fitness/physical therapy moves. These are specifically, if you took these two sheets and made it an absolute goal of yours to understand and do every one of these moves in the next 2 months, pick 2 a day, and just keep doing them over and over and try to do they give you the prompts. I don't have the time to do this here with everybody, but if I put down on the bottom here my YouTube channel that my son convinced me to do because I would have to erase all my workouts if I didn't get a YouTube channel. And I said, I don't think you need another YouTube thing on exercise. And he goes, no, Mom, it's for your group. So I have a group that comes in. They like a live class, and I used to teach over here, and many of them are from there. But I have people joining me from California, Alabama, Florida, Michigan, the UP, and they all join me on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on my YouTube channel. No, I'm sorry, they're not on my YouTube channel. I have the YouTube channel so that, keep swaying, pull your toes up. You gotta pull your toes up. See how I'm pulling my toes up? See that? Yeah, I gotta do some dorsiflexion there. See, bring it up, just like that. Keep going. Okay? After a while, I want you to go heel up, heel up, heel up. See how I have to bend my knee a little bit? My tummy's tight, my shoulders are down, my rib cage is up, and I'm breathing through the nose. The whole time I'm doing this, and I'm explaining. Everything is very explanatory here. But if you pulled up my YouTube channel, Fitness Concepts Plus, it's right down at the bottom here. And my name is Jeannie Weaver. You'll see me, I'm eating an apple. You'll see a little picture there. You click on that. I have about 3 years of workouts now on that channel. Wow. And I have 5 recipes because the Plus, I was trying to do recipes and post them, and I got 5. That was during a very hard time for me, and I haven't gone back to getting them posted. But there's 5 recipes. A really good vegan lasagna is on there. And so if you pull it up, I don't do anything to it. I don't do any editing. I say, look, I need to move. I'm going to move. If you guys want to come in, this is the workout. So all of these moves, pretty much these 9 moves, and I put other things in there during my hour of exercise with everybody. Is everybody pulling their heels up? Is everybody got their tummy in? Yes. Has everybody got their shoulders down? And what about your chin? Are you out like this? Pull your chin in, okay? So keep going. But anyway, I did it on Monday and Wednesday this last week, and I just posted it, so that's there. While we're doing this, keep swaying. I want you to keep swaying. Because, see, I have not asked you to pick your foot up yet, have I? No. So, you're going to take your little sheet here, and you're going to act like you're going to put a hat on your head. And do you see my elbows? Where are your elbows? Can you see them through your peripheral vision? Can you pull them like this? Keep your little hat on. You've got to keep your hat on. You've got to keep it right on your head. Bring your elbows in. Keep the hat on and go out now. Go out. See, I'm holding on to it. Okay, now I want you to drop your shoulders again, because some of you have gone like this and you didn't even realize it. Drop your shoulders and pull your elbows out. Really squeeze your shoulder blades right now. Squeeze your shoulder blades as you're going, breathing in through your nose. Keep going, and as you're doing this, Brian is going to come up here. Keep going, because we're dealing with the upper body right now. He's going to do one of the classic moves that many of you have heard about. You maybe have never done it. Maybe you have done it. Maybe you're saying, I don't ever want to do that again. Whatever. This is called a plank. How many of you have heard of a plank? Okay? So a lot of people do the planks, but they make it too hard for them. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. Pretty soon, I want you to just lift a knee. Just lift a knee. And when you lift a knee, you've got to tighten your stomach. Got to tighten your stomach. See how I'm just lifting my whole foot up? I'm not curling. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going up. Up. Drop your shoulders. Ah, I caught you. I got you. Okay, Brian, hit a plank for me. The way you know. Can anybody see him? Yeah. So he's doing what's a low plank right now. Can you go? Keep going. Keep up. You got to squeeze your shoulder blades really hard. Okay? Now bring them down. Okay? Now go up with your shoulders. Hold that plank. Are you breathing? Are you breathing? Come right up here. As long as he's up there, you guys come up here. Come on, come up here, come up here. Come up here. Come on, David. You've got to do it too while you're doing your camera. Come on, come on, come on. Come right up here. Doesn't that feel good? Okay, now come round, around. Like you got little hands right here and they're reaching out. Reaching out. Oh, really push the back. Tighten your tummy in. Doesn't that feel good? Okay? Drop them down. Drop them down. Keep swaying. Quick, keep swaying. And we're going like this. See this? Do you realize that what you don't stop. I'm going to have you move here in just a minute. This is the classic plank. How many of you are going to rush home tonight and do that? Never. Anybody? Come on. You're going to do it, aren't you? Aren't you going to do it? Maybe in the morning. Okay. Now what I want to tell Brian is I'm going to do a little test here. I'm going to say, Brian, are you ready to go, take it up a notch? Keep swaying. No. My point is this. I told you I was going to talk to you about strength and balance tonight. Right here is your formula to get stronger. But if you try to do the regular one like he did that he has bombed on me now, I want you to put your knees down, bring your legs up. Just, no, put your knees down, bring your legs up. There you go. Now I want you to just pull your tummy up. Now, this is called a knee plank, okay? This is where I want most of you to start. And if you were able to do this, here and here, when you're coming here, you're doing exactly his move, but you're putting pressure. You're loading, okay? And you can move your shoulders around here. If they get tired, you can take a rest. You can go down. So now what I want you to do is put one toe down, one toe, and put the toe under and lift this knee up. Now he's on one knee, and he's on his, now he's modifying, see? And then he'll go to the other knee. Can you switch? So I'm letting you rest. I'm doing this to let you rest. Okay, now, Brian, can you go into a high plank? No, with your arms. There we go. So now this is a high plank. So what do we do from this position, typically?
Push-up.
Yes, but we can do push-ups starting from the, bring your knees down, bring your knees down. No, keep, yeah, there you go. Okay, now you're ready for a push-up, a modified push-up. But I can even modify it further because some of you could never even do this right now because you're too weak and you could hurt yourself. That's the way the kids do it. That's the way the kids do it. Okay, so now I want you to hip hinge and there now. Now, do you remember putting it on the hat? Put your hat on. Bring your elbows forward. Bring your elbows forward. Okay, now I want him to flare his elbows and bring his chest down to the floor. There you go. Now he's doing a modified push-up. Just come straight up, straight up, straight up. There you go. And down, and back up. So I can do a modified push-up until I get strong enough to do the knee push-up. And some of you may never even get to the toe push-up. But do you realize that your form is following how you function? And as you look around and you see how we get into our bad habit patterns and we come walking in the door, that's how our form is going to be. So this gives you everything you would need to know about, why aren't you in the plank again? So let me ask you, by holding a plank and really keeping tight into a plank, keeping your shoulders down, was that pushing you a little bit?
Yeah.
Just a little. This is what you want to do if you want to get stronger in a core, in your stomach, because it's very functional. Because what are we supposed to do in the day? Be able to hold ourselves upright, right? And so one of the ways to do it is to follow the tutorial on your head. And everybody's been practicing their retraction, protraction, right? Everybody's been doing this. That's what I covered last time. And everybody's been doing it at home, right? 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 So if you're seeing this right here and you're saying, oh my goodness, that's what I look like and I don't want to, you can change it. And I was going to get Lucia up here against the wall and show you real quickly. So Brian, get into the low plank, elbow. And he's at the toes, so he's all the way, now he's in the strong mode, so I can take and do many fitness categories. So now what I want you to do is go up into the high plank, all the way up, and now I want you to push your rear end way up. Yes, go back onto your feet, go back onto your feet, go way up, really go it, like put your nose between your knees. Yes, and then bend your knees and come up. Don't ever try to come up. There you go. How you feel?
Whoa.
Okay. Get up against a wall and do this move and this one right here. And what I'm going to look at is, and one of the things I noticed with Lucia, she was standing back here, and I've noticed it before, just because I notice the way people move. That's just part of my life, my study. She locks her knees. She's asking for knee problems down the road. So if you lock your knee out when you're walking or standing, You want to keep your knees just so, see, that's how that feels normal. And that's a locked knee. So I want to keep her knees soft. And I want her to use her muscles more. So when she's there, I'm going to check that her head is touching her shoulders and her butt. And then she has a small here because you have a curve to a neutral spine. That's what you want to, that should be your goal, is to move. She should be doing all her tailoring in neutral spine. If she needs to bend forward, how do you bend? Do you round your shoulders and bend down like this? Form follows what? And if this is what she does all day long, that's how Lucia's going to walk out the door. Okay? So, if you want to bend at the hip, bend at the hip, bend at the hip. Soften and bend at the hip if you need to lean forward. Keep your chin tucked in so you're in a protraction, retraction. So now I asked her a while ago, put your nose right into the palm of my hand and then push it back. And that's what this is doing on the floor. These. It's all right here. If you would do nothing else but this, right here, through this next year, you would walk through that door very differently next year. And it could be in just a few months. Okay, now stay there and walk out just like that. Good job.
So we have two more parts, and one is very little. It's a little spiritual part from Isai about the ministry of healing.
So I'm talking about the book, The Ministry of Healing. It is. Nope. And so I went, the first chapter is what I'm going to kind of go over. The first chapter is called Our Example, and it really talks about Jesus and what he did while he was on earth and his focus here. The book talks about how he himself took our infirmities and bore our sickness from Matthew, and it talks about how he really just used the time to reach out to people and to minister to them in their health. It says his life was one constant self-sacrifice. When his parents lost track of him and they were looking for him, he said to them, why did you seek me? Didn't you know I would be about my Father's business? That was what he was here for. And so while he was ministering to people, he spent more time healing the sick than he did preaching, even. I like this quote. It said, his voice was the first sound that many had ever heard, his name the first word they had ever spoken, his face the first they had ever looked upon. And so, with this being true, why wouldn't they love Jesus? Why wouldn't they want to praise him and talk about him and really listen to what he was saying, because they could see in his actions how much he cared for them. The book talks about how through that healing, that was how he implanted these principles into people's minds and souls. So it wasn't just for the purpose of healing them, but it was for the purpose of imparting these blessings that they might know how much they are loved. That was the purpose of his work. He wanted to give them the gospel, to reveal the gospel of his grace, and that they might know how much they are loved. The first chapter also talks about how he ministered to different kinds of people, people in different social groups, poor people, rich people, people with different kinds of levels of education, and how Christ doesn't recognize any kind of distinction in nationality or rank or anything like that. In Christ, we're all equal. We're all equal before God, and he didn't pass by any human being as being worthless. And so this book really, in this first chapter, focuses on that aspect of Christ's ministry on earth, his work in healing people and using that to then lead them to the gospel.
Thank you, Isai. Can you still concentrate for 10 more minutes? Now we'll talk about diabetes, our health teaser. So, who knows anybody that has diabetes? Seems like everybody. When I was a child, I had the idea that only some people get diabetes, only when they get old, and you basically can never avoid it. My grandma, she had to take some medicine for diabetes in her last years of life. That was in her late 70s and 80s, and I did not think much about it. But nowadays, even people in their 40s and 50s have diabetes, and many have pre-diabetes and don't even know it. In 2021, almost 12% of the US population had diabetes. That's every 10 person. And now it's 24, it's even more. But a third of them didn't even know that they have diabetes. Let me clarify up front that I am talking only about diabetes 2 tonight. So what are the problems with diabetes? Diabetes progresses silently and slowly, and often people aren't aware of it until the condition is well advanced. Perfect health depends on perfect circulation. Diabetes creates a circulation problem that causes chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, arteriosclerosis. So in one phrase, it causes a metabolic mess that puts many restrictions on diabetics and leads to premature death in many cases. And not that long ago, a close relation between diabetes and Alzheimer's was discovered. They even say that Alzheimer's is the diabetes 3. It's a diabetes of the pancreas that's very closely connected to the brain. So, what do we do with diabetes? If you go to Google and make a search for diabetes and cure, you will find interesting things from very popular websites, like the US National Library of Medicine says diabetes is a lifelong chronic disease and there is no cure for diabetes. or the American Diabetes Association, where you think they might know it all, they say there's no cure for diabetes. Wikipedia says type 1 and 2 diabetes are chronic conditions that usually cannot be cured. And the Mayo Clinic says there is no cure for type 2 diabetes. But on the other hand, there are researchers who are very famous too, like Drs. Dean Ornish, John McDougall, Neil Bernard, Joel Fuhrman. Many of you might heard some of these names. They revolutionized the myth that there is no cure for diabetes. And they said, actually, you can reverse it. And they tried it out with many patients, and they were successful. I want to tell you a little story here from our former principal of the school across the street, Mr. Morgan. I was volunteering at that time and saw it all firsthand. One morning, he collapsed in his classroom. The children were already all here, and we had to call the firefighters and the medical staff, and they brought him to the hospital, and we all were scared. And turns out he had diabetes. So he had to start to take medicine. And he not only did that, he also did some research, and he made some lifestyle changes. So for instance, he started a regular and rigorous walking program. And what was most impressive for me was that he didn't eat any desserts anymore, because I was cooking at this time for the school and he never ate the dessert. And it didn't take long, and he came off his medicine and he was completely normal. So he moved away from this area. I don't know how he's doing now, but I hope that he stuck to his lifestyle changes and he is still without diabetes. So the time frame here is, of course, too short that I make an extensive lecture about diabetes reverse. Also, I'm not an expert, but this little presentation is only a health teaser anyway, where I can point you to the best resources on the topic. And for diabetes reverse, I highly recommend this book. Goodbye Diabetes from Wes Youngberg. So the book is the result of Dr. Youngberg's many years working with patients on this condition. And I'm convinced that this is a good read for everyone, especially for people who are more than 40 years old. Dr. Wes Youngberg is an expert in the field and has helped many people to overcome diabetes. He is a sought-after presenter, worked at different places of the world, for instance, Guam, where he was able to manage a significant reduction in the diabetic population, which is pretty astonishing. Currently, he lives in Southern California and works there as a lifestyle doctor and sees patients in person and online. So, of this book, you can get an audio version on Amazon or a used book, because the new ones are obviously sold out on Amazon, but you can get a new one on the ABC site or It Is Written site, or even on Dr. Youngberg's website. The best price I found was about $20. So let me give you a brief walk through the book. It has 4 sections. They all start with D. So the first one is defining diabetes. That section talks about the issue of diabetes, the different kinds of diabetes if you are not aware of them, and the effects on the body. The second section talks about debunking diabetes, which talks about the science behind diabetes, the genetics, and how doctors and scientists found out about cures. The third section is detecting diabetes, that talks about warning signs and tests. And the last section talks about defeating diabetes. So the point of the book is that simple changes can make profound differences. The first one is think good thoughts. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are usually right. Then he has a chapter there, it says, eat to live. And it turns out plant-based diet is the winner. It is one of the most profound factors in defeating diabetes. Then he's talking about eating habits. It's so important when we eat, how regularly we eat, how much we eat, how much in between meals, and how fast we eat. Other things that have a role to play are exercise, weight, sleep, hydration, exposure to sunlight. And then he talks about 10 supplements that can help you in the process to get better. So in summary, diabetes is dangerous. Diabetes is preventable and is also reversible. Dr. Youngberg also encourages everybody to, and especially diabetics, to reach out for help. Find a doctor that embraces the reversibility of diabetes, do the tests, and become determined and follow through. Reversing diabetes is certainly not easy, but it's totally doable. Our sister church in Lakes area, which is north of here, they are planning to do a program in the summer which is called Diabetes Undone. It will be in July. It will be 8 sessions, 2 times a week. And if you are interested in that, the contact person is Mrs. Joy Hyde. I can give you her phone number. Please contact me if you are interested in that. So with that, this was our last presentation. We will go to our housekeeping items and our drawing of prizes. So where is the basket with the little papers? So we need 3. 1. Okay, can you read it? Michael Fleeman, is this you? You just won one of these books, Goodbye Diabetes. Okay. No. Okay. What does it say? Jim Beardsley. So, and Jim wins this cookbook, which is Plant to Plate. It's a plant-based cookbook, diabetes edition. And Dr. Wes Youngberg was actually working with the chef here together, and he recommends this book. And here it is.
Thank you.
So, in case the other people want to get these books, I have pictures in the handout here of both of them, if you want to look it up. So one more. Stacy Francois. And she gets another one of these books.
Thank you.
So I hope you learned something this evening, but not just learn, but also will put something into your personal life to improve your health and your living. And I also want to mention that we recorded this session and it will be available on our website, and the address of the website is on the first page bottom. So if you want to tell your friends about it, make some advertisement for us. And with this, I wish you all a good evening. And where is the pastor? Could you pray for us? And I wish you all a good travel home, and see you next time in 3 months, last Thursday of the quarter, which is end of June. Goodbye.
Let's bow our heads for prayer. Father in heaven, thanks for this evening, for the food, for the fellowship, the learning and the growth. We are grateful that you care about us and you love us and you want us to be healthy. May we go from here encouraged, strengthened, and in your grace. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
You know what, I had one, and I'm still using some of my books on there, but then I don't know. Huh? Well, my friend, she told me that even like the book that we're reading for the club, had Holly, the one that comes. Well, she got hers online. It's free. I don't know. She just said it was online.